Nicole O'Neill once said, when you find the courage to use your voice, it has the power to positively inspire and change the lives of others. It is one of the special gifts you have to offer the world. It is something to be cherished and championed, never hidden. And that is why we are here on Your Voice, Your Impact. I am the energetic EJ. I am a life and transformational coach, and I work with women aged 40 and above to turn their abandoned dreams into achievable goals by activating their voice for impact. I'm also a podcaster and an event host. On this show with me is
great, so amazing. The goal of this show is to help people use their voices to create impact. I am a physicist and a life coach. What I do for my clients is I help them build systems to achieve their goals whilst having fun doing it. On this show, we discuss topical issues that can inspire you to move. Like, subscribe, and share. Welcome aboard.
Yes. Like, subscribe, and share. And we hope you do that week in, week out. Because if you don't, why? No, Maka, why? If not, why not? What is it? That you're not liking and you're not sharing? Is it because you don't like us? Or you don't like the content that we are doing? That was the real reason behind it? Like, no. I watched one video. Welcome, guys. I watched a video on Instagram of two UK people trying to. I think they're probably Nigerians, but they grew up in the UK, so they can't speak Yoruba very well. So they were both trying to speak Yoruba without infusing any form of English to it, right? So one was saying, "Kilo de ti iwo ko lo si Atlanta." The other was like, "Torí pé èmi kò tí ní èmi kò tí ní ilé ìmí ní Atlanta." The guy was saying, "Kí ni ìdí?" For people that understand Yoruba, you will get the gist, right? But it's almost like saying, I don't even know how to explain the language, but it almost reminds me of Duolingo. And I've seen a lot of ads recently about Duolingo on how the exercises on Duolingo seem like it's not conversational. But at the end of the day, I think what they're trying to do is teach us how to speak the language properly, like when you say formal English versus conversational English, right? But anyway, that is by the way. So please, what is the reason that you're not liking, sharing, and subscribing? Whatever the reasons are, if it's not personal, please change your mind, okay? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And if you follow, if you're watching on LinkedIn, please connect with us, connect with myself, connect with Grace, and as well, when we bring our guest today on stage, please do connect with her. She's a powerhouse. Today on the show, we have a powerhouse. All right, I'm just going to quickly acknowledge people who are joining us across board. I see some people on LinkedIn. If you can see me on LinkedIn, hi. So for some reason we are often unable to read your comments on LinkedIn while we are live. So it's when we end the session, I can go back and then reply your comment. But please don't stop. Just keep commenting. Sometimes it pops up on the screen, and we're going to put it up on the screen. On Instagram, I see you, Modi Delight. You can feel me. I mean, you know that story. Maybe you've seen the video. But thank you so much for joining us today. So if you're joining us, thank you. This is Your Voice, Your Impact, where we talk about topical issue, and the goal is to remind you that you have a voice and your voice is meant for impact. And this is a platform that you can actually use in activating that voice or amplifying the voice. So whether you're an expert in your field, or you are very knowledgeable in your space, or you're a veteran, you can actually use our platform to also spread your word. I know you have your platform, especially for the veterans amongst us, right? But again, there is no telling where your message can reach. And we're just saying we are available as a platform to help you amplify your voice and your message. And that is such of what we're doing today with our guests. There's this talk about public speaking is one of the the biggest fear that people have. Like, people would rather end it than, speak in public. For me, though, I think it's gradually changing. I don't know, maybe that's because of social media or anything. But, anyways, the person we're having on the show today is an expert. So we're able to talk to that effect and talk about, public speaking, building your personal brand using public speaking. But before we bring up our guest, let me bring up my co-host who is currently, let me not tell you where she is. Let her come and tell you where she is today because she'll give us more gist about our weekend now. Hello, Gracie. How are you? Welcome,
I'm
welcome to the show
very well.
today.
I'm very
Because we can
well,
see
thank
your
you.
background. It's not the usual one, so we know you are out of base.
Yeah, and I'm not saying where I am. I want you to just die of curiosity. I like it. I like the feeling, but of course, I am a moving train. I'm exploring and I'm learning from it, and I'm happy to be in a place where I'm going to be learning something. So, like I said earlier, curiosity should kill you through way.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're glad that you're here today, regardless of your movement around. So I'm happy that you're here. So let's hope that it's just going to go without any issues today. So yeah, we're going to dive right in. Because our guest is sitting pretty in the studio. Our guest today is, I would say she's getting to that stage of veteran because Grace, secondo te, we can speak small Italian. Secondo te, what's your mark for veteran? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years in your field.
So in my field, I would say, okay, I was going to disregard age or time, or yeah, I was going to disregard it. But I feel that
Is
the
it me
amount
or are
of
you
people.
breaking? Is it
Can you hear
my
me?
own? I can hear you, but it's breaking. Is it me breaking or you? I don't know. Guys online,
I
could you please
wouldn't know.
confirm for us, please?
I hope
Your
I hope
video
it's
is
not
frozen
me.
right now, but I can hear you.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, no, no. And I was afraid this was going to happen because I'm not in
Oh
my.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just go
Okay, so
on.
your
Go
audio is
on.
breaking
I'm
now as
I'm
well.
here. Just go on. Just go on. If you cannot hear me, just go on. Just keep going.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, okay. They say it's fine. Then maybe it's my end. Please go ahead. I think it's my end because on Instagram they say it's fine. But from my end, you are
Okay, that
breaking.
means
So
you
maybe
can
I'm
hear
also
me.
breaking on your end. I don't know.
No, I can hear you clearly. You're not breaking at
Oh,
all. So
okay.
I'm wondering why you're not hearing
Oh,
me.
wow.
Yeah, but I'll just say that even though time or number of years may count, there's some people that may not really, they've not been impacting as such, and the number of years will just be passing by. So for me, it's the people you have impacted plus the time or the years put together. So I would say maybe 20 years, maybe. I'm not sure. But I would say 20 years plus the number of impact. That's what I would say.
Okay, if you say 20 years, which is good because our guest today has hit half mark. So she's on her way there. So she's a big deal. Whatever you say, I mean, I don't want to just establish again or re-establish that she's a big deal. So our guest today is going to be talking about building an authentic personal brand using public speaking. She's a trainer. First of all, she's a media person. She's a media expert. She's a presenter. She's a reporter. She's a journalist. And she doesn't journal in one country. Now she's on that regional journey, actually continental, region, because she reports for the biggest TV channel in Nigeria when it comes to news. So we call them the
Mhm.
CNN Nigeria, all right? So she reports for Channels Television here in the UAE, and her job spans across Africa. So she's one of the loudest and strong voice for the African community in the UAE. So it's such a pleasure to have her here today. And I know she also has an expression. Actually, she has multiple expressions. And she's one of those people that has broken down that concept of multi-expression. And she does it so effortlessly. You wonder, like, only you won but she wears those different hats so graciously. And so that's why I feel like she's one of the best people to talk about building your personal brand using public speaking. Without further ado, I'd love to bring up on this virtual stage today the one and only, the one we call the Lady Mayowa. Hey, well, so her name is Mayowa Adegoke, aka the Lady Mayowa. Hello, 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 the Lady Mayowa. How are you today?
What's your voice here? I'll tell you a funny story. So it was my birthday over the weekend, and my husband's family, my family, there's a tradition for every birthday. There's like a family Zoom call. Of course, the family is all over the place. You have people in Brazil, in Canada. We are here in Dubai, so we would always have like a family uh, Zoom call, 12 midnight on any person's birthday. And we would have
And
like music, we will sing, we will pray, and each person will like say something about the celebrant, right? And then this year, my brother-in-law, he says, "Oh, Lady Mayowa, aka Mayowa Adegoke." I was just cracking up. It's like Mayowa Adegoke is actually the aka. Oh my, that was so funny. Oh my good
Nice.
lord. Um, but just to tie it into the topic of personal branding, you see how an alias has taken on such life of its own that even my in-laws are like, it's like this alias is your real name. Oh. The other name is not the AKA. But that was cute. But thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to join you and be here.
absolutely, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I mean, you are the one when they say that somebody is an epitome of something, that's what you embody. You embody, would I say it is what you preach or what you teach as well? Because I know you have this masterclass for public speaking, right? And you do it so effortlessly. And that is in every different facet that we know you as, whether as a reporter or as the founder of Road to Success Seminar, or as a worship leader, or as a trainer, you see, and all of this. I remember being in a session with you one time, and I can't remember which of the events were together when you were saying, you were thinking about all these different expressions to you. And when you looked at it, the mic was that one thing that was a very strong point that kind of showcases what you do. And there is no public speaking really without a microphone. So which is very, very powerful for me, in that regard. So
Sure.
welcome to the show and thank you for being here today. So
Thank you so much.
I'm going to kickstart this session with before we talk about the public speaking, there's a particular video of yours that we shared, during the week to talk about this event where you were talking about introvertedness and saying, I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert. I no go come out for one place. I'm an introvert, I'm an introvert. I won't go and anyway, there are too many people. Me, I can't, I'm shy, I'm this, I'm that. But knowing that it is in circles that opportunities actually go round. So if you are walking in isolation, there is every possibility that you will remain in that isolation, because then there is nobody mentioning your names in the room even when you're not there. So I want you to start from there and connect the dots to what we're talking about, your personal brand, because for some they don't see it like that. So that's why I think it's easy for them to say, I am shy. But maybe if they can hear from you from your own perspective why that concept of being introverted and building that personal brand is two things that cannot go together if you have a particular type of purpose or goal.
Absolutely. You see, building a personal brand is essential. I mean, look at every material that is coming out today. Now, the whole world is talking about AI. AI is going to take everyone's jobs. And people tell you how soft skills are what we need the most now, more than ever before. And guess what? What you also need, and there's so many articles, opinion editorials to back this up, that building a personal brand will actually separate you from the pack, right? You want to stay top of mind. And let me just go back into like when I was in Nigeria and the whole office thing, and what they call office politics, it's in every office. And for
Mm.
me, I've never liked to play office politics. Rather, I just want to see, just leave me in my corner. Let me do my thing. And even though I'd say that I successfully didn't play office politics, I found my own special key. And that was
Mm.
excellence. That was doing work that everybody went, wow. And so my work constantly put me out there. And
Mm.
of course, there is a thing of own it, own your space, own your work, be bold about it, be confident about it. So, as much as I didn't want to play office politics, I wasn't also shy of the work. I wasn't shy to share my ideas. I wasn't shy to say, what, we've been doing things this way. I'm going to do it this way, and it's going to work. And then when it works, feel free to take the credit, right? Bask in the
Mm.
glory of that which you have been able to accomplish. So, why am I sharing that? If you're an introvert, perhaps you don't have to do it the way extroverts do it, but you've got to find your way to get it done. So that's what I'm
Mm.
driving at.
Right.
Either way, you've got to find how to get your foot in the door. You've got to find how to play the game your own way. So there's one thing I'm coming to appreciate more, and in working with just many people is, extroverted people sometimes are just all over the place, right? We just like to just enter the place and think that, oh, you should just, we expect everybody to do it like we do it. And say, just do it like this. And we think that it's that easy. But it's actually not the only way, right? So I'm also in this season just figuring out, how can we get introverts to find their own way to achieve what we're saying? For extroverts, perhaps it comes naturally, but how do we make sure introverts enter the game and still keep their essence? Now,
Mm.
an introvert, am I telling you you will stay the same way and you will achieve it? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can keep your essence, but find
Authenticity.
a way to play the game. So it just goes without saying, in this world where we're in now, you have to set yourself apart. You have to remain top of mind. And the way to do that is to build your own personal brand. And there's a reason why it's called personal brand. There are principles that we can all follow, but ultimately, it's about you. It's about finding your uniqueness, finding your special niche, finding your special sauce, finding how you enter the game in your own way. Just make sure you're winning. So
Mm.
to say that you don't want to play this game, I don't know how to help you. I don't know how to help you. But you've got to play the game. You've got to find a way to play the game. And it's beautiful to see the results. That's what I always like to tell people. You will invest, you will take effort, you will come out of yourself, you will expand, you will stretch, you will leave your comfort zone, but you will see
Enjoy
the
the
results.
result.
And I'll just use a personal story to tie it in real quick. I I have a client that I just signed, up, and we haven't seen physically. We're in the same city,
Mm.
We're in the same city, we have not laid eyes on each other physically. And this person has paid for my services. Matter of fact, I had my birthday on Saturday. She sent me this huge gift. I'm like, first of all, you pay me hard currency, and you still use big money to send me big gifts like this. And I was just thinking about it. I've not seen this person.
Mm.
How come they trust me so much to pay me for service, send me this huge gift, and we haven't laid eyes on each other? Because
Mm.
ultimately, when people want to drop their hard-earned money, they probably even want to follow you to the bank to see where your account is. They want to, like they want to see your eyes. They want to touch it with their hands. Like, see, me, I'm not dropping any money until I see it with my eyes like this. And here we are. I've got a client who's paid me money, who's investing in gifting me for my birthday without having laid eyes on me. What do you think has brought that about? Your brand.
Mm.
It's the personal brand that I've been able to build, how I've been able to communicate integrity, how I've been able to communicate excellence, how I've been able to communicate, listen, I am here, I'm not running away, I get the work done. My results speak for themselves.
Mm.
That's that's the essence of building a personal brand. And just before I let you, and I like to talk, girl, you know this. You shoot another question.
Yeah.
Personal brand is a journey. What people see today is a journey of at least 5 years, 5 active years of building the Lady Mayowa brand. And then
Mm.
actually 10, maybe, I don't know, 10 years of everything that I'd done before the Lady May brand and me actively building this thing like intentionally, because everything never goes to waste. Whatever you've done before, it doesn't waste. Everything becomes material, becomes ingredient, it becomes part of what you use to cook.
Journey. Mm.
So it's not a sprint, it's a journey.
The marathon. Absolutely fantastic. Gracie, please take it away.
Now, when I'm mesmerized, I'll just be looking like
I know.
Dodo. Can you hear me? So I
Yeah, I
don't
can hear
know
you. It's breaking small, small, but
why.
I can manage. I
Okay.
don't know what is
No,
wrong
I
with the
think it's
network
you.
today.
The lady Mayowa can hear me, right?
I can love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ejiro, I don't know why we are not connecting, but I guess she can hear me, and then we'll just
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please. Go
Right?
ahead.
I was saying that when I'm mesmerized, I'll just be looking like Dodoyo. Usually, I have 1 million questions, and right now I'm like, okay, because the one I kept to ask, my dear Ejiro has asked, but it's okay. I particularly I watched that video like 1 million times. I'm like, this girl is saying what I have been saying, but I think she's saying it better than I've always said it. And that's one thing that you find all over the place. People boxing themselves and saying that because they are this, they're not able to achieve this. And you can clearly see that this thing is not working for you. Well, as it is, what we can see, it isn't working for you. So the question I want to ask you now is, from that personality, practically, when somebody is building a brand, help us understand. You have shared, integrity, excellence, and all of that. What are the things that a starter, somebody that is just, you know, probably trying to start a business or trying to start something, that understands that branding is a major factor that comes to play. What would you tell such a person? How should they start? Like, this is um personal branding for dummies, or 101. What are the things that you tell them to start with?
So personal branding
You
for
get my
dummies,
question?
I totally get it. Personal branding for dummies, point number one, there is space for you, whoever you are, at whatever level, there is space for you. And as I said, it's a journey. So sometimes people get overwhelmed by those are already playing in the field. And they tend to turn them to stars and feel overwhelmed by their stardom, such that it might hinder them from entering the field as well. Because, oh my God, look at all these amazing people. Wow. Who am I? Where do I start from? What do I have to give? So, first thing is for you to understand that there is space for you. You will have to do the work, but there is space for you. Number two is to understand that it's all about giving value. Personal brand is not about some kind of self aggrandizement, though you might find people who glory in that. But the true spirit behind it, the true core, is value and leadership. So if you're not ready to give value, if you're not ready to step into the shoes of leader, of being a leader or of leadership, don't stress, please. Stick to the stands. Stick to the stands. There's a story I've always, you know, shared. It is my mom telling me as I grew up, and maybe not telling me, but something she always used to say. And I'd say it in my language and then sort of like translate. She'd say, "Ento ba nwo ko nwuro." And in English, so that people understand it, is how I describe that or translate it is, you can't be the spectator if you're the celebrity. You can't be the spectator if you are the star in the field. You have to choose one. You either want to be the spectator or you want to be the player in the field. So if you are the player in the field, you are not spectating. So understand that you've got to choose which side you want to be on. Do you want to be a spectator? Listen, there's room for everybody. We even the stars need spectator. So we love you, right? But if you want to be the star of the show, just know that it takes effort to get into the field. It takes stretching. It takes investing. It takes being more than yourself. And I always tell my clients is, what problem are you trying to solve? What value are you trying to give? Whose voice are you trying to echo? EJ, in introducing me, said something about a strong voice for the African community. Today, people will say, "Oh my God, she's a strong voice for the African community," but it's because I maybe did things that were beyond me, that were just beyond meeting my personal needs. And so for me, this is how I approach personal branding. Number one, there's room for you. Number two, it's about value and leadership. And if you're ready to offer value and become a leader, become a voice, not just for yourself, but for people who have the same challenges, struggles, ideas, ideals as yourself, you are welcome to the club.
Like that.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Over to you, the energetic.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I love it. And I love the fact that the one that struck me the most is that fear of saying, there are superstars already. And I think it's easy in any field, especially nowadays with media and with social media, right? It looks like everywhere you turn is saturated. But I don't think it's the truth. Because again, the word is how many? Yeah, okay. Oduoma is here saying it's truly a journey and we must be patient to build our personal brand. It takes time, but at the end is worth it. Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Right? So it's like we think, it's everybody's already doing it. Don't fall for that thing. It's easy to fall for that lie and say, okay. And since Lady Mayowa is already the voice for Africa, what am I doing there again? But the truth is, there are many Africans are in the Middle East region. Do you see? And we're having a conversation during the week, in our weekly meeting with Grace, and she was talking about how what's something that has shifted in the mind to know that, see, no matter how big you think you are, there are actually people in this world that don't know you. They don't know you. They've not heard about you before. They don't care. And that's why you don't ever want to get to the point where you feel like, I have arrived. I am the. That's why, and I think we can learn that from even the big brands. Amazon. Would you see how much Amazon has made in this life? But they are still advertising. Coca-Cola. How much they have made in this world, but they are still advertising. Does it mean that almost every other week or every other month, there are no new frizzy drinks coming out? They are coming out into the market. But like Mayowa just said about spectating and actually being a player, Coca-Cola is minding their business as a leader, and they continue to spread that message. And the other brands that are coming up are also trying to carve their own message for the people that would listen to the message. And I think that's important for us to remember when building the personal brand, to know that at the end of the day, there is truly space for you, but you truly just need to carve out that space and know where you stand. And so my next question for you, Lady May, is, I think one of the major challenges that people have is that space that you talk about. Okay, now I believe there is space for me, but how do I know which one is my space? Which speaks to niching down? And I think it's something that is very tough, especially for multi-potential. But you are the perfect person to tell us about it. Because you wear many hats. And like I said earlier, you do it so graciously. But I know you didn't start like that. So there must be something, there must be a code you've cracked that has helped you just say, I can. So therefore, I will. And I am doing it, right? But what would you tell somebody who is just trying to get into this space? Now they've heard you and they feel like, yes, I know there's space for me, but actually, I don't know. Where is the space? Is it a cubicle? Or how should I position to capture
Mm.
that space? What would you say to that person?
So I'd say start with a problem. What problem have you been able to solve? What problem are you passionate about? What ideas are you passionate about? What ideas would you like to see? What ideas have you brought to life? So it's coming from a place of credibility as well. You don't want to be the empty barrel that's making a lot of noise. You have to have content. And that's why when I work with clients, for me, I always like to say, as much as I can work with anyone, I prefer to work with people who have something already. Like, don't be like fresh out of university and you're calling me. I can give you tips, but you're not my ideal client. I want to work with someone who has content, who now realizes, listen, I have content, but I've been playing. I've not been maximizing what I have. Or some people, they have content, they don't even know that they do. You've put in 5 years into a business, into your career, but you're just sleeping on it. So that's my ideal client. It is people who already have a lot. So that because I like to work from this level. To start here, oh my God, you're slowing me down. I want to carry from here. Now I'm getting out of character. Let me come back into character. Oh dear. Okay. So back to being on track. It's about content, right? Content, credibility. What do you have? Have you done something? Or you just like the whole flashy nature of personal branding? You say, me too, I want. What do you have? What have you done? What problem have you solved? And it doesn't have to be a huge problem. Think of it this way. Whatever problem you've solved, whatever ideas you have, think of it that there are at least 1,000 other people that are like you. And if you only start with speaking to that 1,000, you started. If it's just 50, if they're just 50 that are like you, who have walked through what you've walked through, just think that, I'm a representative of other people who are going through what I'm going through, or who have gone through what I've gone through. Maybe you start with that audience. Maybe you start there and say, okay, you know what? Let me offer value to these people. Let me offer value for this set of people. So it's all about thinking value. Think, what problem have I solved? What problem am I trying to solve? Speak to that. So you want to start from some place. Start from there and begin to build. So in building my personal brand, one thing I know is everything that people see today, you've got a company, you host a podcast, you do this, everything didn't start at once. However, for me, I feel like every year there's always got to be something. So that's it for me. Every year, in the last 5 years, I can tell you, maybe with the exception of maybe 2020. And I'm sure if I look into 2020, I'll find something. Every year, there's something, like it's almost like there's a new hat. Every year. And why? Because I'm thinking, how else do we elevate? How else do we refresh? How else can we spread this message of what we're doing? Which angles haven't we touched? So for me, I have that thing of this year, something else, we have to add something. But you don't. So today someone will look at me and be like, oh my gosh, she's this. But I didn't start that way. It started from, why don't we have Africans coming together to just understand what it's like to be in the UAE, learn from one another? That's literally, I did have my journalist hat going all well and good, but this road to success and the biggest side of it started from, in this UAE, why don't we have any community, any learning, experiential platform, any seminar, any conference where everyone's coming to learn, exchange ideas and say, how are you doing it in UAE? How am I doing it? How can we do it? Find people who have done it to come and teach us. It's for me, that's where it started. Did I see a podcast in there? No. Did I see personal branding in there? No. There's so much that I didn't see in there. I started with why don't it was a question. And guess what? I had that question for like a year. I was just thinking, why don't we have this? And because it's like I got fed up asking the question. I said, you know what? If you are so concerned about this question and you're not seeing the answer, maybe you need to do something about
Do
it.
something about it. Mm.
And that's how it started.
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I have another question because, okay, so I'm very big on personal development. And if you're around me, if you're my friend, I scream it because I need you to also help me, build myself. So if you're not big on that, come out for my space. And there's something that I always say about public speaking. As a matter of fact, I am constantly paying to improve my public speaking ability. So, what I do most of the time is I talk about why there is a need, to build that part of you. And then there was an incident that happened. I was speaking to someone, a client that came, and I said, what I would suggest is it's just a suggestion, but you can, make up your mind when you look at it deeply. I said it would be nice for you to build that part of you because I don't see anything wrong with you, but you just have a problem. You don't know how to communicate. So it's one skill that you should have. And then she said, public speaking. Abeg, I don't, I don't think I want to do public speaking. No, public speaking. So I want you to talk to somebody out there that probably thinks in a certain way when public speaking is mentioned. So I want you to speak to that.
Thank you for that question. Very beautiful question. You see, a lot of people struggle with cultural upbringing and cultural perspectives. A lot of times I've encountered people who, when you talk to them about, or for them, the concept of public speaking is like self aggrandizement. People have put self aggrandizement, self elevation, over promoting oneself on the same pedestal as public speaking. And so for me, mindset work is where I start from. I never work with a client without starting with mindset, on this breaking it down. For some people, it's cultural. For some women, especially, it is in our culture. Woman is a woman, yes, you should be quiet. As a woman, you should be just keep yourself to the side until we call you. Don't show yourself until we call you. So for some people, it's cultural. For some people, it's just how they were brought up as kids, and kids that talk and then very shh, like, what are you saying? Shh. And that's why I think I even want to do something special for parents and kids, how to raise confident children. Because I look into my history and I see that I was that talk type of person, and they didn't shut me down at home. And so imagine when you're raised shut down and then you want to grow up and grow. Very few people grow out of that programming because it's programming. The formative years of a child, what you surround them with becomes a big part of who they become as adults. Remember, we're raising adults. We're actually not raising children. We're raising adults. So if you build an environment and atmosphere in your home where the child is shut down, where the child's voice is shut down, where the child is made to feel like your voice doesn't count, you are programming them, and you're programming an adult right there. So for some people, it's that childhood upbringing. For some people, it's cultural. For some people, it's that, oh, it's going to look like I'm promoting myself unduly, like pride. So for different people, it's different things. So we have to start from these areas, and ultimately, it's about shifting their perspective to the two things that I mentioned earlier: value and leadership. What is leadership? Again, people have a very corrupted perspective of leadership, depending on which country you come from, perhaps. Let's not mention any country's name. Some people have a very, corrupted perspective of what leadership is. when you truly understand what leadership is, when you truly understand what it means to give value, to be of service to humanity, then your understanding of public speaking, which public speaking is just a vehicle to bring change, to change lives, to contribute to making the world a better place, to live in your essence. This Beyonce song says, I was here. How would they know that you were here? Please. How would they know that you were here? And again, it goes back to understanding yourself, who you are as the image of God. For some people, it is that they have a very horrible self-esteem. They are yet to really understand and see the true picture of who they are, the image of God. If you understand yourself as the image of God, you will see value in yourself. Not pride, not over promotion. You will see value. You will see that God-like essence in yourself. And so just the way God, my God, God put his essence in everything. He put his essence in everything. His stamp is all over the place. God's stamp is all over the place, in the oxygen, in the DNA, everything, nature, mountains, this, God's stamp is on everything. And so if you begin to really have a true picture of who you are, you will not be ashamed to put your stamp wherever you find yourself. And that's when you can truly sing the song, I was here. Until then, I lived, I loved.
I love.
So don't sing that song just
Wow,
so
I
you know
love, I love, love
it.
that perspective.
Okay, so
Eh? You
today,
said?
this is the second time we're talking about Beyonce. I had a conversation earlier, and we're talking about Beyonce, and now you guys are singing Beyonce into my head. So I should start listening to Beyonce so because I'm not a fan. So let me go and see what it is
FYI,
about Beyonce today. Say again.
FYI, I'm a worshiper. So my playlist
It's the
is
lyrics, it's not about fandom.
my playlist is like Josie and Bethel music, and that's my playlist. However, we're humans, and there's wisdom in just different things. There's wisdom in unconventional places. So, yeah.
Pretty much, and I mean, of course, if you must be living in Lala world if you're not able to see that lady has really branded herself. And talking about branding, I'll just allow Auntie Energetic, because you know me. The next question that is waiting to, I'm ready, but I said let me keep quiet now. So the energetic can ask her own question.
Why are you
If not,
keeping quiet? Don't keep quiet now. Carry go. But anyways, before
now
we go
I go.
on,
Oh, oh, beautiful.
before
I
we
love it. I love it. And this next question is
Yeah,
one that I hear all the
yes.
time. What? I want to give it to you, Boani. All right. There's a lot of distractions out there, and what people complain about is when it comes to branding, they talk about color. They talk about wanting to be like, you're learning, because if you look around you, we're learning from each other in a way. So some people will tell you that I I want to build my brand, and I'm on the way. This person is already building a brand, and there's this distraction, and there's that distraction. How are you able to tell somebody that's on a journey, to building a very unique brand, not to pick up some things that can take them away from their own unique brand? So please talk about how people associate things like color, things like all those superficial things. How important, how important are those things? And secondly, how can somebody that's on a journey to building a unique brand put themselves together so they don't get distracted by the many. Now this one they work now. If you know infuse dance, you know they don't go buy. If you know infuse this one, so how are they able to manage all of these distractions and be unique?
I have the answer to that. Just give me a sec. Let me grab something. This is the answer. All right, shameless plug. This is my this blurry thing. You can see that? So that's the TLM Personal Brand and Public Speaking Masterclass worksheet. I'm sure you can see the worksheet. So before I did my masterclass, my first masterclass, I put in work to put this together. And this worksheet becomes a map. It becomes your own guide. It becomes your own sort of like personal branding Bible. And why do I bring this up? People need help. Like if you find that, again, see, why would you waste time, trial and error? So I had a public speaking class, I think earlier. Was it last month already? My goodness. Was that last month? It was last month already. Last month. So I have speaking classes every month in Dubai physically. And someone who had come to the class, when he gave his own review and feedback and just sort of endorsement online, he was like, why do you want to trial and error when you can just learn from someone, right? When you can have someone guide you, when you can get a consultant, ding, 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 to work with you, so that you understand what it takes. And, resource like this, a resource material like this helps to keep you on track because the fundamentals have been captured here. It helps you to reflect on the things that are important. You actually get to write it down. And so this becomes a guide that you're following. A big part of personal branding is understanding who you are. So somebody else may be open to dancing online. Me, I'm not going to be dancing online. Because me as a person, there's a way I am when I'm with my very close friends, when I'm in my inner circle. That's where I really let loose and let down my hair. And I can be, can go crazy, do whatever. Am I going to come outside and do that? No, that's not for public viewing. Do you get? Now, if you ever see, it'll be very difficult for you to see me do that. Not because maybe it's not working, but just because I've decided, regardless of the trend, there is what the Lady May will do, and there is what the Lady May will not do. It doesn't matter what the trend is. And here is the thing, trends come and go. Does it mean that dancing is wrong? No, dancing is not wrong. If you're predisposed to doing that, by all means, knock yourself out. Does it align with your brand? Yes, go ahead. So again, I'm very careful with, this is what's trending now, or this is how they say they should do it, right? Because everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has what's working for them. What's working for them might work for you, but is that how you want to be seen? Is that what resonates with your audience? So many questions to ask. So for me, it's always understanding the core of who you are, understanding your audience, understanding the perception that you're building, and then act accordingly. Act accordingly. So it is understanding the foundation and then acting accordingly, not vice versa. Again, trends come and go. So that's one thing. Trends come and go. Trends come and go. So you have to choose ultimately what resonates with you, your brand. Now, to answer the question about color and those things are important. However, I like to focus on, and it's okay to start from there. Like, I want to be my personal brand, and I start with my logo, I find my website, I do it. It's okay to start from there. I didn't start that way. I started with content. right? I started with content. I started with becoming a voice. I started with seeing a problem, offering a solution. I started with creating a platform that offers value. To be honest, I wouldn't say I'm completely ashamed. I'm not too ashamed that my website is still not live. It's there in the back. We've been working on it for over a year. Like we work on it, and I'm like, nah, I don't like this. Can we change it again? So officially right now, TLM's website is not live. Am I making money for my brand? Yes. Should I have a website already? Yes. So do you see? Of course, if I'm working with a client, I'll tell her, you better let's work on your website. So if I'm working with a client, but because I guess because I've built something, I can take some stuff for granted a little bit. So you see, I'm one to operate outside the box. But yes, colors, because those things are part of psychology. You know, what color makes people feel this certain way. So you want to use a color that is appropriate for me. I've got a symbol that's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 colors because you cannot put me in one color. It will not carry, it will not catch, it will not catch, it will not carry everything. One color cannot do it.
I understand. My own is in season. Red can be doing me this season. The next day I say, "What is red? You're not too much in my face. Come and be going." So
Yes, yes. And each color has like different shades. The intensity is increasing. Even one color has different shade. So you see, one color cannot carry only it's plenty. That's
oh
me.
my God. Oh, I will use teal today, and I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling teal. I'm still feeling teal. And then after I'm like, teal. Oh yeah, it's time to go.
So
Over
you
to
see,
you, the energetic.
Honestly, what you just said now just alludes to a thought that has been in my head for the past couple of weeks about life generally, and just getting to understand that sure, say nobody don't live this life before come back on the teachers what it's supposed to be. Like all of us are living the life. We are all here living it. And if
Mm.
it is true that each and every one of us have a special kind of DNA. So why do we break ourselves, wound ourselves, stab ourselves because we are not doing it like this person did it for it to work for them? Like what stop us from saying, okay, what if I try my own like this? And if it works for me, it works. And if it doesn't, well, okay, it's not like that. Okay, I'll try another one. But it's all part of the process of living. You see, when that thing came to me in the last couple of weeks, it felt like a whole heavy burden has left my shoulder. And now I now understand. No wonder. See, when sorry, I'll come with this one. When Jesus said, "Come to me, my burden is light, my yoke is easy." I'm like, Lord, is this what you mean? Because it's like at the end of the day, with him that lived, I'm a follower of Jesus. So bear with me if you're not, but just get the message. When he lived, he ensured that he established the fact that there is no one answer fits all. There are principles, there are life principles. But when it comes to the expression of it, we can act. That's what makes life beautiful. That's why we are not all the same. We don't all have the same kind of eye. We don't all have the same size of nose. We don't all have the same size of ears. It's because it adds that color. And it's in the same way that we live our life. We don't all have to like go exactly. So even for what Lady May just said now, for example, like why struggle to go and learn, trial by error before you do it? But guess what? Even with that handbook that she's giving you guidelines, but ultimately you have to customize those guidelines to yourself. And for me, I think that's something that we need to remember. And that's also, for me, it's essentially what personal branding is. Because if it's like Lady Mayowa, why is it personal? It might as well be Mayowa's brand. I'm using Mayowa's brand. right? So thank you so much for just alluding to that fact. Like at the end of the day, just know who you are and know what you are in your essence. See that, for example, and my question now, as we get ready to wrap up with Mayowa, is where do you draw the line when you're trying to, tap into your uniqueness, versus, let's say, I don't even know whether it's going against the normal, I'll say it now. So for example, there are marketing rules, right? So there are marketing rules, there are things that okay, industry standard, let's put it like that. But where do you draw the line when, for some reason, your core is not aligning with the marketing rules that exist?
Mm,
And now you are feeling like, is it me that is not doing it well, or what am I getting? How do you speak to that person? How should they navigate that? It's almost like confusion. But at the same time, just as you say, remain authentic to yourself. I don't have to dance, right? But at the same time, there are some principles that feels like these are marketing principle, but for some reason you are struggling with it. How do you overcome those struggle? How do you draw the line between what is your core and what are this one is not about your core, it's principle, just follow the principle.
mm. All right, great question. I'll use an example of something I always say. There are people who pay for certain things, certain recognitions, certain things. Me personally, I will not be doing that. Personally, I will not be doing that. I will not be paying for it. I remember a post that I did, I think 2022 or so. And this was the first of the year, either 2022 or 2023, one of those years. And this was like the first of the year. And I did a post and I said, um, just, I was talking about the optics. And I was telling people and saying, I feel the need to do this post and just open people's eyes. So the year passed, I had posted a lot of, I'm so happy to announce that I'm honored to be recognized. It was one of those years. It's like, is it only you? It was one of those years where I was sharing and posting so many like accomplishments and award and recognition. It was one of those years. So the first day of the following year, I just, again, from just introspection and reflection, I said, I'm going to do a post and talk to people about, don't get carried away with just everything that you see. That, do
Mm.
you know that perhaps, what if I had paid for some of these things? Now you will sit at home thinking about, is it me that does not know how to do this thing? And is in my own life, Lord, am I, like they will say in Nigeria, Lord, am
Am
I
I actually?
like people in Nigeria will comment and say, Lord, am I a dustbin? Lord, like, just almost like, I'm a human being as well. Like, I deserve this too. And I was doing that post for such a person out there who had seen all the stuff that I'd posted back to back. And I said, listen, this internet it's a curation. We curate what we want you to see, whether the good, the bad, or the ugly. You don't know if outside of all these beautiful things that I shared, what of the ugly things that I didn't share?
Hmm.
Not so great things that I didn't share. Some of the awards, what if I had paid for them? How would you have known? Now, I didn't pay for stuff, and I said as much as I didn't pay for anything, but what if I had paid? How would you have known? And you would have discredited your entire existence for what I have carefully curated for you on the internet. So for me, I have that thing of, I don't pay for well done. Now let's flip it. Are there platforms where they require you to pay for something that it looks like you're paying for the well done? And I'll break it down so you understand. So there's a platform, they recognize and honor people. They have a process, so they're not just choosing people. The people that they choose actually are worthy to be honored, worthy to be
Hmm.
recognized. There's a selection process. They have judges and XYZ. So there is that process. So they're not just handing it out. However, if you do get selected, you're required to pay a certain sum, because for them, from a business perspective, we're spending money for the awards, we're spending money for the event. You are going to come, we're going to create this for you. So from a business perspective, they are thinking about, we're going to spend money. we need to we need to sort one or two things. So you, as a recipient, you have to drop this amount because we need to sort one or two things for this event that we're doing. When I think about it from that perspective, because I'm also a business person, I say, okay, I understand from a business perspective. This thing, the plaque will not just show up. The venue will not just show up. Food will not just show up on the table. Money needs to go
Mm.
down. What if they don't have a sponsor? From that perspective, I understand.
Mm.
But for that, I would say, okay, because I know that there's actually due process. So it's not like you are paying for recognition in that sense. So there's that gray area, almost like it's not completely white, it's not completely black. But by the time you dig into the details, you'll be able to look at it and say, okay, I can understand this and this. And then you make your own informed decision. Did I get such an opportunity? Yes. Did I pay? No. Did I see the value in it? Yes. Maybe because I didn't feel like I wanted to just do it. Maybe if I had like changed, I felt like, this one will not pay me. Let me throw this money into it. Maybe. Did I see value in the audience that they were bringing together? Mm-hmm. And so from even a business perspective, and a lot of people who do pay, they pay for the business side of it, not necessarily
Mm.
for the certificate you want to give them. So I'm breaking it down like the behind the scenes sometimes. So for some
Right.
people, they would pay for certain things, not because of the certificate you want to give them or the golden thing that will break. Maybe when their child, my child has broken one or two things and torn one or two things. Is that what you get? But they are doing it maybe for the business visibility. So for them, it's a business strategy.
Mm.
So do you see how it could look one way and then look the other way, the same thing? So I hope
Mm.
that answers the question. I feel like it's an
So
open-ended question.
yeah, it is. It is. So again, it still boils down to you actually looking beyond the surface, and it's almost like you have to do that work. You can't abdicate the work of questioning yourself deeply to see or to check your intention behind your action. To say, okay, why am I doing this now? Am I doing it because Bubere is doing it, or am I doing it because I feel convicted or convinced that I should be doing it? And I think that's important. And I think that's another angle that you can really plug into. Say, okay, now it's self leadership, which, like you said at the beginning, is personal brand. It's about leadership and service. So it's you leading yourself first, and then also extending that leadership to others by serving them. And I think that is so powerful. What will be your final words for anyone watching? Thank you so much, everyone who is here, everyone on Instagram. We see you. People on YouTube, I see you, Odiwoma. I see you, Ernest. It's been a long time. Thank you for joining. And for those on LinkedIn as well, I know there will be comments on LinkedIn afterwards. We're going to respond to you as soon as we end the show. But what will be your final words for us on the show today, Mayowa? And also just speak quickly about the masterclass for this month, especially for those people who will be watching in the UAE.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I think my last word would be start today if you haven't started. It's not cheap. So don't think that is no. It takes effort, it takes investment, it takes intentionality, but you always see the results. Don't make the mistake that a lot of people make. A lot of people invest themselves so much in a career, in a job, and years down the line, you only find out that you're just left with a salary or a pension and not much more than that. You can get so much more from what you already have. It's what you have right now that will become the material that we use. Don't just work, just office, rinse and repeat. Build your personal brand. Somebody captured it beautifully. Your office owes you a salary. You owe yourself a personal brand.
I like that one.
Your office owes you a salary. You owe yourself a personal brand. And I think I'm gonna write it and I tell my team, please put that into a quote and let's put that on the slide or something. So that's what it will be my parting shot. I've got a class on the last Saturday of the month. It's in Dubai. I can work with anyone wherever you are in the world. And I also have virtual classes. They don't happen as often because I have to have a certain number in the class. But if you're in Dubai, if you're in the UAE, you can join my physical class last Saturday of the month. I've forgotten what the date is. I think it's 28. On the 27th. So on the 27th, I've got a class and swing by. It's just maximum 10 people. I like to keep it intimate so that I can touch each person. If you're interested, find me on Instagram, send me a DM, and we'll take it forward. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So if you're interested, please connect with the Lady Mayowa on Instagram, Mayowa Adegoke on LinkedIn. She did not change her maiden name on Facebook, so but she's not really active on Facebook too.
Oh, that
So
I have a Facebook page. So you use Facebook.
Facebook page is still Mayowa Ogo. Okay, your Facebook page is the Lady Mayowa on Facebook.
Yes, Mayowa.
Okay.
My maiden thing is, and I tried to change it one time, but I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I'm hardly there anyway.
Yeah,
So
you're hardly on Facebook itself.
I have an official page on Facebook. That's where you find it.
Right, right. But again, please do follow the Lady Mayowa. She also hosts a podcast called the Road to Success podcast, and she runs a yearly seminar called the Road to Success Seminar, which is doing so well in the UAE. And very soon we're taking it out of the UAE and taking it to the GCC region by God's grace going forward. We have a goal, a 5-year goal. Is it 3 years? 3 to 5 years goals of filling up the Coca-Cola Arena in the UAE, in Dubai. So join us to be a part of that, to make it a reality by supporting the brand. Grace, please, what's your final goodbye as we wrap up today? And this network no make me enjoy this session, but anyways, we winged it to the end.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too because I did not miss any parts. I heard you
Hey,
all through,
God.
and I heard so
Wow.
it's the connection is between
It's from my
yourself
end.
and
It's from my end.
from your end. Okay, all right. So very quickly, I want you to say something. What do you think about using your voice for impact? Tell us what you think about using your voice for impact.
Your voice is the vehicle. Whatever it is that it's on your inside, the essence you want to leave, the stamp you want to leave on the world, the value you want to leave behind, the lives you want to change, your voice is the vehicle for that. So you've got to use it. You've got to use it. Use your voice because that's the vehicle by which you do everything. There's a picture. Sometimes, thank God for God. If it weren't for God, I think I'll be one of those people that feel like, what's the essence of this life, safe? Because anything can happen and somebody will just drop dead. Or like there's this video on Instagram, in 100 years, all of us would have gone.
Honestly.
And you think about, so what's the point? But I know that the point is God. And that's why there's meaning to life. But think about it. Maybe your name would not exist anywhere. Maybe we won't know where you are buried. But the words that you have spoken into somebody's life would impact them. They will impact their children will impact their children's children. And so your essence rubs off and is somewhere there. Your name might not be attached. And if you maybe do a good job, your name will be attached. But think about it that way. Your voice is the vehicle. So use it.
Love it. Love it. Your voice is a vehicle. Use it. That's from Lady Mayowa. Thank you so much
Thank
to
you
Lady
so much.
Mayowa. We appreciate you. Modi Delight, thank you for joining us on Instagram. Real MC Hope, I guess. Thank you so much for joining us on Instagram. We appreciate you. Please, yes, before we go, please, if you're on Instagram, you can follow our community handle, Voice Impact Movement. And if you want to be a part of the family as well, just send go to Voice Impact Movement on Instagram, follow the handle there, and you see a link on the bio. You can join the community as well, because we also, as we use our voices, we also want to empower other people in our community to help them also activate their voices and start this vehicle of creating a lasting change that will outlive you on the surface of this earth. Thank you so much. Till we come your way again next week with yet another scintillating conversation. Hopefully, network will allow me to enjoy it. I have to go and watch the replay now so that I can enjoy it. Grace, you want to say something, please? Or was that a bye bye? Because it's hanging. Was that a goodbye? Oh, okay. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. See you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.